Alright guys, welcome to part 2. Okay, so the butt wink. So remember the butt wink, let's just go over it really quick. Remember that's that crater here, and you have that femur bone, that ball and socket, right? You have hip flexion, and then when you don't have any more hip flexion, then you have to go into that posterior pelvic tilt, and it's gonna come from that lower back as well. So you see that lot of pressure there, so we're trying to avoid that. That's the butt wink. In my opinion, the butt wink is not safe, especially when you're loading a lot of weight. Some people might say otherwise, but that's just my opinion. But there are ways to try to minimize it, and there are some cues and some exercises, so that's what we're gonna go over today. Anyway, if you're new here, my name is Justin Lee, fitness coach and doctorate of physical therapy student. Here you'll find videos on fitness, physical therapy, and lifestyle that helps inspire self-change. This channel is all about lifting others and lifting weights, so let's lift for change, people. If this resonates with you, feel free to subscribe, baby. All right, so this video is actually gonna be really cool because you can kind of treat yourself here, okay? So I'll tell you what I mean. Physical therapy is all about getting an objective result. You put in some kind of treatment so you can do some exercise, and then you compare it to the other results here too, okay? I'm not saying do it with this video, but I'm just gonna show you for me how it could be done. And then if you wanna do it on your own, feel free to do it on your own. Okay, so let's just see. So I'm just gonna go and squat. I'm not gonna do any cues. I'm just gonna squat down. And then we're gonna see how low I go until my hips start to posterior pelvic tilt, okay? So I'm going down, and you can see I'm just relaxing. I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm just squatting here. See what my pattern is, okay? So wherever that is on the ground for you, you can look in a mirror and be like, okay, about there. Then you can measure it from the ground, or you can measure your knee angle, hip angle, whatever. You can measure something. And so when you do it again after your treatment, you could see if it got better, okay? So you're gonna measure that same thing. Okay, we're gonna do 2 cues and 2 exercises, all right? So in the squat, cue number 1, we're gonna turn to the side. You wanna try to keep your back as straight as you can. So by bending in the back like this, that's not gonna help you at all in your squat, definitely. You wanna try to have extension. That means your spine goes back. It's a nice natural curve. You don't wanna see it flat. Some people like go way too extreme and it gets flat. That's not good either. You want a nice, just a natural curve, but not too hyper extended, right? That's what we call it. So you want a nice curve, so you want to try to maintain that curve while you squat. So you are going to have to use some of these back muscles like the erector spinae. You're going to have to use some of your glutes to help stabilize that core and then that pelvic region. We call this the lumbopelvic region, okay? So you want to try to keep that straight as you can. So if I relax, do you see how I let my lower back go and then I just go down? But what I can do is I can try to keep it out as much as I can as I get lower, okay? So then I have to activate that side because that's where I'm weak. The second cue is trying to get your knees out. Now this is a really good one. So check this out, you guys. Remember we talked about the anatomy of the hip? It's a ball and socket, but it comes out like in this direction. I feel like I'm doing like a Hadouken. So we're in this place. So we have the ball that's coming in here. It's actually placed a little bit more lateral here like this. It's not just straight down. So it turns out to the side. So what's happening is sometimes when you bring the knee straight in this way, since that ball and socket is faced in that direction, you hit that bone. But if you turn it out and externally rotate it, you can create more space for it to really glide up and not hit a bony block just yet, okay? So what you can cue is to say knees out as you squat down. So let me show you. You're squatting down here. I'm gonna cue knees out so that your pelvis can get nice and low without running into your hips and then causing that tilt, okay? So those are 2 cues you can try. Here, try it by yourself. Remember you measured before? Let's try again. We're gonna cue to keep your back straight and knees out. And let's see where I go. If that cue doesn't work, then maybe you actually need to go in there and make some adjustments. So here are some exercises to help that. Okay, so the first one, we're gonna go directly to that joint, all right? So you're gonna be in a deep lunge position. Try your best to get in this wide lunge stance like this. If you can't quite get that low, you can go and use a bench, right? And then you can bring it up like this. Okay, now as you're just trying to get deeper and deeper in there, notice how I'm trying to shove this hip, this right hip into knee flexion, but I'm trying to push out. Do you see that? So my knees are really out here, and I'm really trying to open up what the hip joint is doing. I'm trying to keep the knees stable, so don't go so far out. I'm trying to really drive into the hip flexion so that I'm pushing my hips and trying to get more there rather than through my back later, right? So you can do that on each side. Hold that for about 30 seconds. Number 2, the back muscle back here, the glutes, right? Extend the hip. Do you see that? They contract. Now, if I'm pulling this up, doesn't this muscle stretch? Now imagine if this muscle was tight. What happens? It's gonna stretch, 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 stretch. Oh, I'm not gonna let you go anymore. Where are we gonna get the motion? Do that lower back. Oh, yeah, so we gotta stretch out this muscle, all right? A good stretch, you can do the figure 4 stretch, that's pretty common, or the hug the knee. So it looks like this. Come out to the side, hug the knee, cross it, bring the knee to the chest. What you're trying to do is you're trying to pull the knee all the way in, but this part of the hip you're trying to push down, so you get that big stretch all along that glute region. You can do this one. There's a different one where you lay on the floor and then hit this figure 4 stretch and pull this in. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning into this video on learning how the butt wing works and some exercises and some cues that you learned. If you want to try it out, put it in the comments below, see if it helped you or it didn't. And I just want to know, and tell me if you have any requests on what videos or whatnot. I definitely want to answer and listen to all you guys, okay? I hope you took something from this video and it helped inspire some self-change. Remember, change people, change people. That's why we lift for change people. Stay lifting. Have a great one, you guys.